Good afternoon, everybody. Like she said, it's a post-lunch session, but it's also a very interesting topic. And we would love to have your attention because we've got some really great brands, people who've done online, legacy brands, new age brands. We even have a brand which is just about a month old on this panel. And the OG of social commerce, SHEIN, also is on this brand. So we are going to give you a lot of insights into this category. So welcome, everybody. Lovely to have you all here. Uh, Before we begin, the one thing I want all of you to probably give in a line is, it's now 5 years since e-commerce, thanks to the pandemic, really exploded. So what do you really see as the biggest change in the last 6 months? Because, you know, the industry changes literally every month. That is impacting this creator economy and marketing online.
Hi guys, I'm Abdus, founder of Sam & Marshall. We are into eyewear. Coming back to the question, what she asked is how it has changed. So there's two perspectives to it, that's what I think. One is the content way and the other way is the influencer way. So if I talk about the content, most of the content which is working right now for a lot of brands is it's somewhat like if you do content which is near to the memes, there is satire in the content, it will surely work. That's what one thing is happening for sure with the Gen Z brands and all of them. If I talk about the creator thing or the influencer thing, the same. Creators are trying to do the satiric content and for the brands as well. That's what my take is.
Hi everyone. My name is Agnes. I'm the strategic advisor for the new brand we just launched, Ecolore Fashion. So we are a minimal fashion brand focusing on reducing fast fashion waste. So the opportunity what we see ahead for especially online market is customer needs social proof for everything what they see online. So creators, generated content, plus authentic content is going to drive the confidence among the customers. And being a slow fashion brand, we also strongly believe creator is going to drive our way forward for our business, because we have a lot of education to do about why slow fashion, why fast fashion is spoiling the earth, etc. We strongly see the trend is emerging. We also see a lot of brands internationally scaling up to $1 million in just matter of 6 months, 1 year, just by using creator. Companies hiring creators as their core team. They do label design, then they create their own content. They also do the shipping. So that's a future ahead for us. Thanks.
Hi everyone. My name is Akshay Mahendru. I'm building India's mass pet care brand called Nootie by PetPoint. For us, in the last 6 months, what has changed in e-commerce is two aspects. One is speed and trust. We are all targeting the Gen Zs of the world, and the only thing they are only now looking at is how soon can they get their product, and from which trustworthy brand they can buy their product. And because I come from pet care, trust becomes a very essential part of making a brand because you are feeding your dog or your cat something. If you're not trusting the brand, I'm sure you'll be buying it. We are very heavy on UGC content. We are focusing too much on getting the right mix of people to get our content there. Use that content to our performance marketing, build that trust. That's something which we're very focused on. Having said that, choosing right set of content creators is something which is always been a challenge for us and still is. That is what we're trying to solve through this panel now.
Hi, this is Deepak, and thank you so much for putting this question. This is really very, very interesting. What I think, see, online space is the space where everyone is, running fast to grab it. All right, am I audible? Why? Because, so there are two options of getting into the business. One is, of course, the offline store, And second one is the online space. Offline, if any of us going to get a business, get into the business, will take at least 6 months minimum. It has got huge cost, right from the rental, human capitals, operating expenses, a lot of cost. But if I have an option to get into the business within a week, it's online space, right from the startup, all right? So this is one sweet spot because the technology is there, supply chain function is there, so there are so many business supporters sitting at your doorstep trying to help you out. So this is the only one option. But having said this, why online space is the sweetest spot? Because most of us see the consumer base who is online right now. Because most of us don't look at the consumer base and try to showcase the merchandise, wrong merchandise, and then in the end of 1 year, they close or shut down the store. We have to look at the consumer base, target the right one, because 70 to 80% of India is still young. That's what I believe. Because I have worked with multiple jewelry brands, small to the big one. I've seen them shutting the store, online space, after 1 year or 2 years. Why? Because they had the ambition of getting into this online space, but they never thought of matching the same stories, same merchandise. And they always targeted the wrong audience. And that created huge operating expense. Because coming to jewelry, I'll tell you later on in the talk, the bottom line is very, very thin. So if you go in the wrong direction, unless you have a lot of VC, you're not going to survive more than 1 year. So yes, online is the sweetest spot and easiest way to get into the business because of so many favorable conditions.
Yeah, thanks, Jermina, for asking this question. Now, we all know post-COVID, there's been a lot of exponential changes in the digital landscape across the globe, But the biggest change which I see is that the official line between creator and commerce has officially blurred. So creator is not just creating a content, but driving sales actually. And this is not a trend, So there's a fundamentally reimagining brands have to, how do you connect to your audience, How do you make it look more authentic? If you look at overall, last year's data, total social commerce business across the globe has exceeded $600 billion. And that tells you the story which is there in the future, right? So for e-commerce, you just cannot leave that social commerce as a part. And for that, creator has to be there, which actually would drive that sales. Apart from that, build a storytelling around, which makes it more authentic and relatable to the audience, especially makes more sense for us. SHEIN anyways is known as an OZ of creator economy, as you rightly said. But for our TG, Gen Z, and there's the data across the globe, which says that they actually relate to those creator content more than probably a brand commercials. Yeah, so.
So I think very, critical thing to sort of address. Post-COVID, one of the shift that, like Sir said, is that suddenly there is a surge of consumers looking for brand-led content in a creator's, engagement on social media. And if you look at data, over 85% of content-led brands made by the creators themselves has happened after COVID. And that, I think, is one of the biggest shifts. So yeah, I'm Nimit, the founder of Unicorn Cultr. And yeah, thank you for that question.
So I think what we've really learned is how the creator economy has come up, and today any individual can be a creator as well as an influencer, influencing billions of dollars of sales. And a lot of us who are into online brands know how much our influencer marketing spend has gone up. Before I deep dive, I would like to ask both Nimit and Abdus, because both of them have two very unique product categories. Nimit's is a 1-year-old brand called Unicorn Cultr. It's kind of, clothing for people aspiring to be hustlers, creators, entrepreneurs, and ultimate unicorns. And Abdus, who has a Sam & Marshall, a very interesting eyewear brand. They've recently launched men's jewelry, a category as a woman I don't think existed, and it's happening. So I want to ask you, Nimit, first, that you have a very unique product proposition in apparel, which is a highly cluttered category. So how do you see influencers or creators for your brand? How would you select them as your brand grows?
So I'll talk about something we did. typically what happens is when most people enter a fashion category, they would go after fashion influencers, lifestyle influencers, etc. We did a completely different thing because our brand is focused on the niche of creating apparels and fashion for aspiring and existing entrepreneurs. We actually went after all the content creators who are doing business content.
Business content creators. I'm
Right.
going to make a note of that.
So, for example, one of the creators we've onboarded makes crazy amount of content for startups, funding, how to get funded, how to get on Shark Tank, those kind of things. More than 200 million, more than 200,000 followers. You know, so very specific. So we're not going after who has 10 million, 20 million, 50 million followers and who are doing fashion brands and stuff like that. Because for us, fashion brand follower is not our customer. Our customer is an aspiring entrepreneur who wants to consume content on business. Hence, we want to be present in front of that particular customer. So that's how we're going about the creator economy.
So the marketer in me says that's a very interesting breakup of mindset targeting versus literally a user targeting, and applause to you for that, Nimit. Abdus, how are you going to create this men's fashion jewelry, category? What would be your influencer choice like, and how do you really see that scaling up?
So shall I just talk about the jewelry part, or shall I just talk?
Yeah, because I think while optical is a fairly established category about Sam & Marshall, and we will come to that later, but you have launched men's jewelry, and a lot of brands, even Platinum Council tried to launch. I'm sure Deepak will confirm to that a lot of brands have a minimal range for men's, but you have actually aggressively gone into it, and you're pushing it high online too. So what has been your experience, and how do you see the marketing for the brand going, whether it's content marketing, influencer marketing?
So if I talk about the content marketing for the jewelry part, to be very honest, men's jewelry is still untouched in India. To be very honest, we are also finding our ways. What way, as a founder of Sam & Marshall, I would love to take, that's what I can tell you guys. It is that we really aspire to become an aspirational brand. That's what we're trying to do, okay? And aspirational, mass premium brand, that is what we're trying to do. And we would love to cater almost every person who is in the mass premium segment, who loves to buy the mass premium products. So whenever we are selecting the content or finalizing the ideas and all of that, what we usually do is we make sure that we tap into people who are who are being aspired by others. That's what we're trying to do. That is the only thing we're trying to do. And we're also trying to do one more thing, which is that the brand has a certain kind of identity. Like, we are monochrome. We don't do colors. We usually just very pale and all of that. We don't do a lot of colorful stuff. So we try to get people or the influencers or the creators which are actually on the same mindset, so that the identity doesn't deviate. That's the only thing what we're trying to do right now.
It's very heartening to hear that, because quite often you see a lot of brands who are having multiple content creators and influencers on their, campaigns. They just choose by numbers rather than actually matching the profile to your product. So hats off to you for doing that, and I'm sure, like your spectacles, your jewelry range is going to fly off the shelves. Next question is to Manish, because I think everybody's waiting for you to tell us. SHEIN is the OG of creator economy. It's the creator of social shopping, live shopping. And we also know that while live shopping has taken off very well in China and Korea, even parts of Japan, somehow it's never taken off in India. So just want to understand, is SHEIN looking at a live shopping strategy? And of course, you have SHEINverse, so if you could tell us more about it. Everybody's waiting to hear, Manish.
Sure. I mean, so while we are the OG of creator economy, I mean, OG is back in India, to say. Now we have internally, we have one motto. We prioritize, authenticity over perfection, I would say. I mean, especially when it comes to influencer strategy or creator economy, right? And we have a flywheel wherein we actually, we don't go after influencers. We rather turn our shoppers into influencers, So it's like shoppers becomes your influencers, becomes your affiliate, and eventually becomes your brand evangelist. So that's how we complete the entire flywheel.
It's a lovely flywheel.
So unlike, there are a lot of brands who are actually going after, let's say, influencers as a one-off strategy. We rather believe in the fact that you have to, I mean, treat them as a co-creator in the entire process, you know. That's how we treat them, and that's where we start from shopper rather than starting from influencers. And that's the reason you see a lot of, so SHEIN actually was the one who actually created this entire nano influencer or micro influencer as a category, I would say, right?
Yeah.
And that's what exactly, and the next step is treat your customer as influencer. So for us, probably it's even a school head boy, you know, is who's got a certain followers and people, I mean, friends who look up to him. I mean, for us, he's a celebrity, or he or she is a celebrity, rather than going after probably a known face in the industry, right? So that's how we treat them. Now, there has to be a tiered approach. So you're talking about SHEIN Verse. Now that's our property which we just launched in India. You know, so that's about creating probably the biggest creator economy or creator category in the entire e-commerce space in India. I would say we target upon more than 1 million creators to come on board. We just went live last week, and it actually it became an organic storm, I would say. So rather than brands following a paid seed kind of strategy, we probably start with paid seed, which is where we actually give free samples to our customers, right? They give those discount codes to their followers. They further give it to their friends and family. Then they start putting, you know, UGC, which is unpaid, right? And it becomes kind of, there's a ripple effect, which eventually, you know, out of FOMO, out of that peer pressure, everybody starts putting that UGC, which is how they use that discount code, or probably how they unbox that garment, which is where SHEIN Hall as a property was made. So eventually, which started as a paid seed, turns out to be organic. You know, it's a snowball effect wherein you're actually creating an organic budge. So, and that's what we are doing with SHEIN Verse. And in just 3 days, we probably had, I mean, more than what we could think of. I mean, more than 150,000 people coming on board. I mean, we rather asking them to put in content. It's already become viral. There's a lot of content on the Insta if you go now, search for that. So that's what we are trying to create that. And of course, I mean, when it comes to your question of shopping through live commerce, I mean, that's the future, especially if you look at any data where the Gen G, I rather call them Gen Alpha internally, because now it's Alpha who's also becoming our customer. So the Gen Alpha as a category, they probably, even when it comes to content on Instagram, they go for a video content rather than going for a static content, right? We have data wherein we see that overall your engagement rate jumps 50% when you go for a live video stream or a video. Your convergence jumps by 10% or so. So all these data supports the fact. So we actually track that entire KPI, run around them, and we actually realize that live commerce is the way forward, wherein you probably give them the link, right? Even for the influencer, the SHEIN Verse community, what we are doing is that we are giving them an app wherein probably they can track their performance over a period of time. So it's not one-off. You make them as a co-creator in the entire process and run you across throughout the journey, wherein you can see your performance, and you actually you try to get to the next year, and you see how your content is performing. So while it's helping the brand, at the same time, it's helping also those creators to, I mean, maximize their brand value as well, you know, in their follower community. So yeah.
Wow, 1 million influencers, and you've already reached 150,000. So from a very, very new age brand, I'm coming to you, Deepak.
Yeah.
You actually have a very legacy business, a brand which is loved by people in its home state and surroundings, Sri Jagdamba Pearls. And now you have forayed into online. So for a legacy brand, how does the mindset change to kind of go online? And is your customer the same customer who has been buying, or are you really talking to the next to next generation? So how do you really plan that out?
Yeah, true. It's very true. Sri Jagdamba Pearls has very strong legacy. If you would have gone to Hyderabad, there are a few things very famous you touch. One is Jermina, second is biryani, and third one is pearl, right? So if you're gonna buy pearl jewelry just to give it to your loved one or any friends, you will walk into Jagdamba store. That must. So having said this, this legacy has been built by families of 3 generations, all right? And any legacy, it takes time. particularly in jewelry. And that never ends. And these are things, and this legacy has been created by very key component that works everywhere across jewelry. One is trust. The first key component is trust everywhere, be it Tata, be it other jeweler from South India. It's trust. How you treat your consumer, how do you love your consumer, all right? And then second one is customized product. That increases your, the relationship with your consumer. And the third, what differentiate is communication. Like many of you can have the same product, but what's going to differentiate is the campaign, language, communication. How are you going to define it? That builds emotion. The jewelry is something, it's very personal. It's not going to sell unless you mix some stories, all right, emotions, a relationship. That's how it's gonna have value addition. So that's what Jagdamba has also done across 3 generations. And yes, they were limited with physical stores, so they have now planned, yes, why do customer wait for the visit to Hyderabad and then they're gonna buy it. So online, they got into online space just to cater to all cities, like somebody trying to, buy real pearl jewelry from Delhi, then we're gonna ship it. The same price, okay? And it has very large assortment, but we have focused on core products like of very contemporary, minimalistic, lightweight jewelry, all right? But it has for all occasions, all generations, like loved by all generations. And how we are pitching it very strong online, it's all through content. As I said that jewelry is all about stories, so yes, we invest very high on 2 things. One is product. So all the product is, made by handmade. 100% jewelry is created through hand of all those artisans sitting in Hyderabad. So it has got a story because all those artisans are, staying with us for a long time. Second one is, the content, be it product image, be it rendered images of, jewelry. It should, showcase very, very minute part of jewelry. Okay, be it purity, be it some craft, and video part of the jewelry works very, very good, especially on Insta. So it may not be, the simple video of some collections, maybe the making of jewelry, like how long it took to get on the shelf, right? And who were the artisans involved with making of that particular jewelry.
So
that creates
emotional
very strong emotional connect, all right? And that gives us, direct sales and landing on our page. So this is what I have felt working out for our brand.
Interesting. Now to a category which actually doesn't have a human customer, which is Akshay's brand Nootie, the pet point. How much do you rely on UGC for a category like this? Because, it's a pet category, it's a growing category, rapidly growing category, and we are also seeing many, many players there. And does India also have pet fluencers?
Indeed, yes, pretty big ones. If anybody is a pet parent out there, they must be following Chloe the cat or Milo the beagle. They have about 100,000 followers.
Wow.
Traveling all around the country, living in all 5-star hotels. Hotels sponsoring their visits because अभी hotels को भी चाहिए कि वो अपनी language create करें कि pet friendly हैं. वो pet influencers की तरह होता है. So now what I've learned in building this brand is 2 तरीके हैं. या तो मैं massive influencer campaigns करूँ, like a bigger brand, for which I need a lot of funds to drain out for marketing, or I become the brand face myself. In the last year or so, I've been creating content on pet care. I am an author of a book called Raising a Happy Dog. It's available on Amazon. I've been into the category from 20 years. 2005 is when I started with my first store. अभी 20 साल में मुझे इतना ज्ञान आ गया कि एक डॉग को कैसे रेस करना है और वो उसको डॉक्यूमेंट किया 1 साल लगा के एक बुक रिलीज करी. All the effort, my wife is a pet influencer. My dog bro she makes content of homemade recipes for dogs. and she has about 20,000 followers, organic followers. I on my page about 90,000 organic followers, and I talk about pure pet care content. अभी दो तरीके थे, तो मुझे दोनों में से लगा कि अब जैसे सर ने कहा कि आज इन्फ्लुएंसर लेड ब्रांड्स आगे आ रहे हैं, मैं वो अपॉर्चुनिटी भी नहीं छोड़ना चाहता ना. आई डोंट वांट टू लीव माय अपॉर्चुनिटी. इफ देयर इज अ फाउंडर आउट देयर just starting out, please make content. That's very important. You become the face of your brand. You don't need celebrities. Yes, you need UGC content. For that, you can talk to your customers. As you know, Manish sir said, you make your customers your biggest advocates, because people want to see people of their lifestyle advocating for a product. If they, agar, I'm sorry, I'm taking a couple of minutes more. If I remember, वो निर्मा की ad आती थी. And Sita, the actress who used to play Sita and she kind of came in the Nirma ke ad, मान गए आपकी नज़र और निर्मा सुपर दोनों को. So because that figure had a very trustworthy image at that point of time, so Nirma kind of capitalized on that. So that is the kind of people, that is what people want to see, how you can build trust on your brand through these influencers or UGC content, or become a influencer yourself.
Interesting how creator brands, I think you probably fall into the creator brands kind of a category. And trust, I think this is what I'm hearing from everybody, be it a 1-month-old unicorn culture, to fashion, to even SHEIN, where existing users are giving trust to the potential users. Coming to you, Agnes, you run a conscious clothing brand. And obviously, environment friendly has become a buzzword, and everybody wants at the slightest drop of 1% natural ingredient to say it's environment friendly. So how are you going to really navigate, because you can't afford to slip? Your promise is very solid. How do you plan to do that?
Hello. Yeah. See, we actually came up with the idea when this creator economy is actually booming. We saw a lot of brands across globe is built by creators, run by creators, to $1 million opportunity. For us to deliver the promise, we have to live by the promise. So we've started off with a 1-member team. We're going to continue with like that, and we're going to onboard creators as our employees. So we live by that, so that we'll be able to walk the talk. And we're going to create a market for creators. It will not be just like another hiring an influencer or a UGC content. Our roadmap is very clear. In next 3 to 6 months, we'll be working very strongly on building in-house content, educating customers. What is sustainability? Sustainability is not about just buying organic cotton or organic or recycled fabrics. How we as an individual can be conscious by buying less, good quality product, which we can reuse, so that we live the promise of sustainability by buying less. That's why we call ourselves less is more, is our brand core tagline as well. So to deliver this promise, we strongly believe creator and UGC content is going to be very big. So we'll be, in fact, when we launched the brand, we took a first offline route of launching in a restaurant, with hosting the brand, creating an educational series, why sustainability is important, and it had a good response. So we'll be doing a lot of such offline event as well. These are all to build trust and also onboard more and more creators onto our brand. So we want our customers to become a future vocalist of how a slow fashion brand can build and be responsible for the earth.
Thank you. Abdus, coming back to you, because your main brand is Sam & Marshall. It's a fashion accessory, spectacles and sunglasses, and you got some really, really cool designs too. So I want to understand from you that when you onboard creators, how do you really look at it from a long-term point of view versus a one-off collab, a collection collab, a seasonal collab? Do you look at them differently? How do you kind of plan your collaborations and influencer marketing?
So honestly, we have been not onboarding a lot of creators. We have been very picky, very choosy in picking up the influencers. As I said, the identity should match, and the sad part is identity both come match ho pati hai. So we are very picky, one thing. Second thing, yes, we usually do it in the campaign way. Like for example, we are launching a new series or something like that. So I'll take a minute here and I'll tell you what we're launching. So we're gonna launch within the next 10 days. We're gonna launch a 6-year series. And it's hopefully it goes really good. So now we'll activate the creators there and then. So before that, we were not doing anything in the creator side. Maybe some of the creator community which we have created in-house, 100 to 200 people, we make sure we work with them so that the content is going. But when we infuse a lot of creators, we do just when we have to launch one of the campaigns or the series. That's how we do it.
Thank you. Manish, to you, the question is because SHEIN is a category brand created out of innovation in use of media, not just fashion. How do you really see the future of the creator community with even AI influencers coming in, AI content coming in? So, how is SHEIN and how are brands looking at the next 5 years with AI as a pillar of content creation?
So, I mean, great question, Jermina. So, AI definitely is going to play a big role. I mean, starting with the creator community. I mean, we don't. I mean, we look at fit rather than the follower as a strategy. When I say fit, whether that creator fits the brand value alignment, is there an alignment or not? That's where it starts from, right? And then how do you make them as part of the entire journey? As I initially said, you make them as co-creators. Ask them to create not just content. I mean, they've started creating collections for us. While there is a brand guideline and they have to work around that, but they got that creative freedom of storytelling, which could be either through their content or even through their collection. Now, the future I see has to be more integrated, personalized, which is where AI, AR has to play a very, very big role in not just creating content, but also defining or let's say curating the creator community to say, right? I mean, we believe in scale. When I say that, I mean, we have hundreds and thousands of creators we're looking at. We cannot micromanage, and that's where your AI and AI has to definitely pitch in, to give you the right set of filter wherein you actually get that right set of creators. And then there has to be a complete immersive experience for a customer, right? In the future, authenticity definitely would be very, very important. There's a Nielsen study which says that 92% of customer actually, I mean, they find recommendations from people they know directly or indirectly rather than a brand commercial, So if that's the kind of data right now, 92%, and with the Gen Z with population gearing up to becoming the main customer, that would explode, right? And hence, the future has to be more immersive, more AR created, more relatable to the audience you are talking to, and more personalized, yeah.
So basically, word of mouth has shifted to becoming more of people creating content, and you absolutely believe
we
it.
say that now the shopping doesn't happen in the aisle; it happens in the feed.
True. So talking about UGC, Deepak, what has been your experience? Because your current customer profile is 35 plus, but obviously online wants to cater to under 35. So how does UGC play a role in your creator strategy?
Yeah, it's creating very amazing. Okay, what I've learned, just an idea I share to you. My first job was with Catwalk Shoes, ladies footwear brand, must have seen. So what I learned as an intern there, and that's what I executed at Jagdamba Pulse. So what I learned, Catwalk Shoes, it's from Mumbai, all right. So Mr. Asim Merchant, he doesn't spend a single money on any ad, all right, outdoor or digital, anything, nothing. So where does he spend money, and how does he, retain at least 40 to 45% of consumer? Only one thing, making each consumer, a customer, a brand ambassador. And how does he do that? So he has a team of customer relationship management. What he does, he captures all the data of consumer, like anniversaries, birthday, and a lady on a customer's birthday or anniversary. There is a specific lady who wishes, okay, makes a call to the customer and say happy birthday or happy anniversary. All right. So in this digital age, we never get a call from our own families, you know. It's something like a message on your WhatsApp or your something like social media. That's the touch we have forgotten and left. That's not there. The feel is not there. So this is what connects us with the consumer. All right. And with all this activity has got tremendous, very extensive deep relationship with the consumers. That's what I executed as Jagdamba Pulse. So what we did, we started gathering, the special dates, birthday and anniversaries, and we made a project that every month at least we should wish some 100 customers, all right, and give at least to 30 customers a free gift. Very good packaging, a jewelry, free jewelry, and they were so happy to receive a call of wishes, number one, and second, a jewelry surprise gift. And that's what happens. Out of 30, at least 10, we get as a bites testimonials per month. So we get at least 10 consumers as a true testimonials. And those bites will link it with users-generated content on our social media. And that's creating a good sale. It helps us in generating 5 to 10% of sales.
That's a massive number. Thank you for sharing that.
So this is one. Second, we have collaborated with influencers. And again, in influencers, you have to be very specific, not in one language. So we have collaborated with two, one in Telugu for Hyderabad, and second Hindi and English for Bangalore or northern part of our city. So that's also creating a lot of engagement to 2 to 3%. That's also helping us to add on our followers and reviews.
Regional content clears are becoming very important for you.
And lastly, the third point, what I'm gonna share here is live streaming. You remember the age of Home Shop 18? I mean, all the ladies sitting at the home used to watch live shows of sarees and home or mobile, whatever, right? Maybe the company is shut down, closed, but still, that's creating huge impact. So what we do live streaming in the weekend, and our customers, they wait for the live shows because they know, yes, this weekend, Sunday, this time, the show gonna be there. So what we do, we choose a very strong deal of jewelry, higher ticket size. So this also helps in raising average bill value of our jewelry because the SKU is limited. And we create a very strong deal. We create an agency of limited stock among our own consumers, all right? So here you see the real-time interaction, like questions and answers, queries, because jewelry is all about telling a lot of things about your product. It cannot be told or showcased over digital space, one page or second page. So we tell a lot of stories. We create an agency through years. You can buy for your loved one, birthdays, anniversaries. We create an occasion in her mind. And within that 1 hour or 30 minutes shows, we generate a lot of orders.
So live shopping is coming to India, as Manish will be happy to hear.
Not only connects, but also, what I say, deep relationship, which helps in further cross-selling and upselling.
Okay, thank you. Actually, coming back to you, how do you really measure the effectiveness of all the influencer marketing or content creation you're doing? And especially since you're generating a lot of organic content from your wife and yours handle. Have you ever measured, and how would you suggest content creation be measured as a contributor to sales?
See, basically you plan your content. So what we do, we plan our content. So I give you a very small example. So on Blinkit, we have launched a Blinkit specific product called Nibbler. So Nibbler is a ready-to-eat meal for people who have pets and who are not able to cook food. All our competitors are doing the same product at a price point of $300. because of the supply chain, benefits I have because of my experience, I've been able to crack the price point to about 150 bucks.
Wow.
Now, in the last 1 month, both me, Divya, my wife, my team, we have been putting a lot of content out there, telling the benefits, how are we able to make it, how are we making it, the BTS of the entire process, and then tracking the conversion through, Blinkit per day sales. So, for example, we were selling about 100 odd units a day till July. We launched in June last week. Till July, we were doing about 100 odd units. Because in August, we were very heavy on that particular nibbler content. We are now doing 250 per day. It's 2.5x of just education out there. We have not spent a single penny on it. It's just what is happening behind the scene, telling to the customer, यार कि मैं ये चावल लेता हूँ, मैं ये सब्जी लेता हूँ, मैं चिकन लेता हूँ, मैं उसको ऐसे कुक करता हूँ, तो it is basically वो zero preservative product है, zero preservative. हम उसको रिटॉर्ट करते हैं. रिटॉर्ट इस जैसे वो मसालाज और ये रेडी टू कुक जो ह्यूमन फूड्स होते हैं उसको रिटॉर्ट करते हैं एंड इट्स जीरो प्रिजर्वेटिव. सिर्फ एजुकेशन दे के हमने पिछले 1 महीने के अंदर अपने उस पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट रेंज को फ्रॉम 100 यूनिट्स पर डे टू 250 यूनिट्स पर डे किया. एंड देन वी ट्रैक द बैक एंड एंगेजमेंट. आई थिंक वो सब सोशल मीडिया करती है.
Correct.
कि कितने व्यूज़ आ रहे हैं, कितने एंगेजमेंट हो रहा है, कितने लाइक्स हो रहे हैं, कितने शेयर्स हो रहे हैं, वो तो नॉर्मल मेट्रिक्स है ही है. But ultimately, if it's not helping my business, that content is of no use. It's waste of time and energy.
It is a marketing unit.
अगर वो revenue में incremental नहीं दिख रहा, anywhere, whether it's my website, whether it's my Blinkit, whether it's my store, if it's not happening, it's waste of time. Genuinely, it's waste of time.
On a lighter note, मिठाई की रेसिपी तैयार है दिवाली के लिए? Agnes, come in. Yeah.
So in fact, another thing that I would just like to add is, so when we started the journey at Unicorn, right, one of the things we sat down and evaluated is, so just from a creator economy point of view, Instagram is extremely overrated.
True.
In terms of, so almost majority of the brands would have a blind eye towards any other social media channels compared to Instagram. But the reality is, one of the key decision-making points is to find out which channel is actually is going to contribute the most to the stickiness of what kind of content, which will then decide where do you want to go. So one of the things we did aggressively is we're now going to be visible across content creators who are podcasters, doing content with business owners on YouTube, because that's a long form content, longer time period, longer engagement rate. So one of the things that I would just like to add to what he's saying is that it's not just the type of content, it's also the channel of content that needs to be very well thought of from a brand marketing point of view.
And I think that also is dependent. Sorry, I'm adding. Sorry, I'm late.
Sure.
It's also very dependent on your TG.
Yeah.
Correct.
Your platform of content has to be your TG. Mine is very, working professionals and and तो हमें Instagram first होना है, पर ऐसा नहीं हम YouTube को छोड़ के बैठे हैं, Facebook छोड़ के बैठे हैं. We were very excited of TikTok coming in. There was a rumor that TikTok is coming in. I was very excited to push TikTok के बारे में strategy बनाना शुरू कर देते, because as soon as TikTok's coming in, every brand's gonna grab the first mover advantage on TikTok. So first you understand your TG, where your TG is, what you're making, where उसको customer कहाँ है, but you cannot forget any other platform.
I think that is obviously the basic, and we also see the basic being missed by a lot of brands. So Nimit, this was actually going to be my last question, but I'll make it my second last question to you, that all of us are talking of creator economy, and like we just discussed, we keep thinking of Instagrammers. How would you see LinkedIn as a channel, given that you are going after hustlers and business people and future unicorn makers?
So I'll tell you a use case, actually. I reached out to one of the founders who showed up on Shark Tank as a part of our outreach program, saying that, we have built a brand for entrepreneurs, and I don't know how many entrepreneurs here, but basically, and he said, so he had posted an AI image with him wearing a polo neck t-shirt. And I said, why don't you try ours? We've made one for entrepreneurs. He's like, how can you make a polo neck for entrepreneurs? Uh, and honestly speaking, those kind of specific conversations, those kind of, very TG specific, outreach or engagement can probably be done using LinkedIn. Specifically, again, like he mentioned, that it will depend upon your TG. So in case of unicorn culture, yes, entrepreneurs, the kind of content they create and they consume is heavy on LinkedIn.
And existing unicorns.
And existing unicorns and
To be
and to be
unicorns.
unicorns,
Yeah.
effectively speaking, right? So from that perspective, LinkedIn is very, very big for us.
Okay. So I'll go to my last question to Agnes. At how are you really going to, say your complete ecological story? Is it going to be UGC heavy, or are you looking at influencer marketing? Because ecology is a very, like I said, misused term, and at the end of the day, the authentic ones are few. So how do you get your authenticity, the fact that you're actually environment friendly, ecologically safe product in a market where everybody claims to be so?
So just to answer that, we're going to approach both. So our influencer will be narrowed down to people who are ecology vocalists. So a lot of people today across the world talk about how fast fashion is building waste. So those kind of influencers. We're not only looking at, while we are a lifestyle brand, we are not going to only look at fashion influencers. We are going to influencers who are conscious about what we are going to talk. Yeah, sustainability. Sustainability is not as, organic, because you can't be sustainable by being organic. Who are in apparel industry knows. So that's one. And second is we also going to create more and more creators, build creators who talk about this, build more awareness about this concept, so that there is more and more awareness is built. Along with that, we will nurture them, we will help them. So we're going to we kept it very clear, we're going to keep only 50% of marketing budget is only for performance and Google. 50% of the marketing budget, we kept it for UGC content and also influencer content.
Wow. So I don't know if we have time for questions.
So, Jeremy, just to add one point before we close. So one of the things that a lot of brands forget is how do you increase your brand searches? And creator economy, actually, the reason why it's one of the most amazing things to focus on is it allows you to get people to search for your brand.
Yeah.
Now with Instagram being Google too.
With Instagram or with YouTube or any of the channels that you use, the more content you get put out there through the creators, it's going to get people to Google you. The interesting thing about the user journey is completely changed. Earlier, you have an ad, you click on it, you go to the page, you buy. Now, if creator is talking about it, they can't click on anything. They have to go Google the brand, and then they land up on your particular website. So I think one of the most important things that we are focusing on is the reason why we're going after business content is we want people who are wanting to seek business solutions to listen to that particular brand and then go and search for it, because that's a playing field nobody else can, beat you on. So
that's really the matrix, no? What we keep saying, top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, middle of the funnel. So I think time's up, and okay, there is one question. Are we allowed, Bunny? Only one question we'll take. Yeah.
First of all, I must congratulate you. It was extremely well moderated session, and all the speakers were well short and on time. So since you have one question, I'll make it in two parts. First part on sustainability. Is sustainability very loosely used word of late? Because I see sustainability, every brand is claiming.
Yes, very much.
Is it really a sustainable thing? Is the first question. The second part also I'll ask so that I don't have to. There are a lot of insights on content creation and various channels to use. Without getting into niche or any kind of specific target products, etc., let's assume that it's a relatively mass product.
Let's take this question.
What would be your top priority in terms of go to this channel and go this route on content creation? I just need one, top one, or maybe one or two. For an emerging brand, that's more useful because resources are not plenty. So yeah, whichever order, whoever is fine.
So I'll take the second part. I mean, sustainability probably Agnes can talk about, right? So for us, it's as I said, it's fit is more important than the follower, So you have to actually know where your customer is, right? Rather than reaching out through every medium and every influencer out there. I mean, if you look at data, I mean, there's 4 million influencers in India, creators, right? That's a huge number. Now, how do you funnel that is where exactly you need to look at the influencers, and probably that's where AI is helping us in the terms of just funneling out that who's the right creator which fits into your customer value proposition you're looking at, right? So you need to figure out that and see which channel they are into. Like Nimit was saying that there are multiple channels, so you need to figure out where exactly your customer is, right? And that's where you'll have a better ROI, because end of the day, that's what matters.
Thank you so much, everybody. We love speaking. To me, the biggest. Thank you very much for being such an attentive audience, and thank you for being awake post-lunch session. And thank you, co-panelists. I think we had a lovely discussion. We've left a lot of thoughts. What I still keep hearing in the age of AI from almost everybody is human touch, authenticity, and trust. So let's continue building that. Thank you so much.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our moderator, Jermina, Menon, and of course to all of our panelists. I'm going to request Nimit Shah, founder of Unicorn Cultr, to kindly present all of our panelists with, of course, your amazing mementos, because it's been sponsored by Unicorn Cultr.